Let's take a look at the chart action for Bitcoin. Okay, so here's what I was looking at on my last chart, or here's some of the things that I was watching. I was watching the 38% level, the 50% level, sitting at 44,114 and 42,892. I had limit orders on both of these spots. We came down, filled those limit orders. The other spots that I was looking at was this previous support right here and this support down here. These supports were sitting at 40,906, and then down here I have a limit order still at 37,769. Came down, filled this limit order as well, so we'll change this from orange to yellow. I was trying to dollar cost average on the way down using the Fibonacci retracement levels. I also put another one at this one right here, the 61% level. So let's go ahead and copy and paste one, something like this. So these are where I was trying to find a spot for a bounce. 38% level, 50% level, 61% level, and on the daily time frame I had these previous supports, one right here and one right here. We came down, filled all these ones. We have not filled this one yet, pretty much. So the other thing I was looking at, let's jump over to the daily time frame. We had this bottom support right here. Let's go ahead and actually delete everything for right now. We had support, 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 and that gives me a trend line something like this. We actually came down, got a bounce right on that trend line. Looks like we're bouncing back to the upside. So let's go ahead and bring back the lines that I was watching before. What I'm watching now is the downtrend still. Let's go back to the 4-hour time frame. That was the daily time frame. Let's jump into the 4-hour time frame. What I'm thinking is until we break, or once we break these trend lines going to the upside, then we could get even more bullish. Looks like we got that bounce on that trend line. I think it looks like we're testing this bottom trend line right now. I got resistance, resistance, giving me this downtrend right here, this first one. Then we also have resistance, resistance from when we were in this area, giving me this second downtrend, or really the first one. That was the original one. So what I'm thinking is once we start breaking these trend lines going to the upside, that's going to be bullish signals. Right here, we came down, hit the bottom of this trend line, and it looks like we're getting a bounce now. Let's see if we're able to break through this trend line going to the upside. I think if we do, then we can start getting more bullish and start looking for previous resistances. Let's go ahead and delete the Fibonacci retracement box because we don't really have to concentrate on that. Let's actually just delete everything and we'll kind of start from scratch, or we'll kind of draw the trend lines at least, just kind of focus on what we need to. So we have this downtrend right here, and then we have another downtrend, something like this. I think if we break this downtrend going to the upside, then we can start targeting the previous resistances and this upper trend line. So let's go ahead and drag this trend line out a little bit more, and then we'll also set up some red horizontal lines at the previous resistances. We have one right here and then another one right here, and then we'll change these to red, something like this. So I think if we break this trend line going to the upside, some of the targets that I'll be looking at is 43,285 and then 43,814. If we could break through those, I mean, in general in this area, these are kind of just some of the spots that I'm looking at. And then, like I said, we also have this trend line. So if we break this going to the upside, then we could look in this kind of area in general. First one, 43,285. Second one, 43,814. If we could break through these red horizontal lines and then break through this trend line as well, then we could start targeting these tops up here. So let's go ahead and copy and paste some of those horizontal lines. Copy and paste one right here, in my opinion, because we had this resistance start pushing down from right there, and then we have another one up here where we got pushed down right there. So let's go ahead and copy and paste another one, and these levels are sitting at 46,748 and 47,979. Basically, if we break this trend line going to the upside, these are the first two that I'll be looking at. And if we break this trend line going to the upside, then these are the spots that I'll be looking at. It's possible, though, that we break through, come up, get rejected, and start heading down and have to retest. I don't know. We'll have to retest support lines. We had support right here and support right here. it just really depends on what happens. But if we could break through, that's the next thing I'm kind of looking for, is for us to break through this trend line, go to the upside. I'm not 100% sure if it's going to or not. It's possible that we also get rejected and have to come back down here. And like I said, I was also watching, if we go jump back to the daily time frame, we haven't filled this limit order, and I still have it set up. I still have some of these other limit orders that I've been watching for a while too. Let's go ahead and draw this orange, and on the daily time frame, we have this support down here sitting at 37,704, and then I still have my original ones. If you guys have been following my channel for a while, I also have some on the 4-hour time frame where we had support right here, and support right here. So if we copy and paste those levels, let's go ahead and do that real quick. We have one right here, something like that, and then one right here, and then another one, maybe something like this. Just another way to dollar cost average. In my opinion, this is kind of how I'm doing it anyways. So let's say we get rejected. These are the spots that I'll be looking at going to the downside for a possible bounce. But like I said, on the daily time frame, we already got that bounce on that daily trend line. So I'm hoping that we'll be able to continue this momentum, pushing to the upside, or continue this bounce. So we have this trend line right here. We got that bounce perfectly on that trend line. So I'm hoping that we can continue this bounce and start to head back to the upside, first targeting these levels, and then maybe we'll have to bounce something like this in between these two, between this resistance and this support, maybe something like this. If we could break out, then I'll be looking at this top up here, and if we could break through this area, then we could even get more bullish and start looking at the previous resistances over here. It really just depends on what happens, but these are kind of some of the things that I'm looking at and some of the trend lines that I'm watching for a signal, whether we get rejected. Right now we're kind of testing that downtrend. Let's see if we get rejected or if we're able to break through it. And then when we come up to this level, if we can break through it, if we could break through here, then we'll start looking at this area and see if we get rejected or if we break through it. And in general, like I said, I've been trying to dollar cost average on the way down, so that's just what I'm thinking. Let me know what you guys think though. If you guys like this video, hit that thumbs up so I could see you in the next one.